First contact gone wrong. Earth's first encounter with alien life came on a clear Tuesday morning. The massive ship appeared suddenly in orbit, its sleek silver hull reflecting sunlight as it hovered over the United Nations headquarters in New York. Navy Commander Jack Porter stood tall on the makeshift platform, his uniform crisp despite the summer heat. Beside him, Dr. Olivia Grant nervously adjusted her glasses, the xenolinguistics expert mentally reviewing the universal greeting protocols she had developed but never expected to use. "Think they're friendly," Jack whispered. Olivia shrugged. "We'll know soon enough." The world watched as a beam of blue light shot down from the vessel, materializing into three tall, slender beings. Their skin was pale blue with an iridescent quality, and their four eyes blinked in alternating pairs. "I am Zexalar, emissary of the Vordax and representative of the Galactic Council," the tallest alien announced in perfect English, surprising everyone present. "We have observed your world for some time." President Harris stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth, we welcome you and hope for peaceful relations between our peoples." The aliens were welcomed with caution but optimism. For 3 days, they attended meetings with world leaders, shared limited information about the galaxy, and promised technological advancements in exchange for cooperation. In his temporary office at the UN, Jack reviewed the transcripts with growing concern. They're being deliberately vague. He told Olivia as she entered with coffee. Every time someone asks about their weapons or how many species are in this council, they change the subject. Olivia nodded. "I've noticed linguistic patterns suggesting deception. They're hiding something." On the 4th day, the Vordax revealed their true intentions during a closed meeting with the Security Council. Jack and Olivia were present when Zexalar's friendly demeanor suddenly changed. "Earth will submit to Galactic Council authority. Your resources and population will serve the greater galactic community," Zexalar announced. "Resistance is unnecessary and would lead to suffering." "That's not going to happen," President Harris responded firmly. "Earth is not for sale or surrender." Zexalar's upper eyes narrowed. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation." The meeting ended abruptly, and security forces escorted the aliens back to their ship. Military units worldwide went on high alert as leaders debated their options. "They're going to demonstrate their power," Olivia predicted while working late with Jack in the crisis center. "It's a classic colonization tactic." Jack nodded grimly. "I've recommended evacuating coastal cities as a precaution." But the warning came too late. At dawn the next day, the small coastal city of Newport, Rhode Island vanished in a flash of light. Where homes and buildings once stood, only a perfectly smooth crater remained. 50,000 lives gone in an instant. The world reeled in shock and grief. As emergency sessions convened, a message from the Vordax ship broadcast on all frequencies. "This demonstration was regrettable but necessary. You have 3 days to surrender world governance to council representatives." Instead of breaking humanity's spirit, the attack united Earth like never before. Old enemies set aside differences as militaries combined resources and scientists shared research. In an underground facility beneath Colorado, Jack found Olivia analyzing alien communication patterns. "They made a critical mistake," she said without looking up. "They showed us what they can do before we had a chance to show them what we're capable of." "And what are we capable of?" Jack asked. She finally looked up, her eyes reflecting the determination spreading across the planet. "They think they know us based on observation, but they don't understand human resilience. When backed into a corner, we don't just fight. We evolve." As the deadline approached, Earth prepared not for surrender, but for resistance. Humanity would not go quietly, and in labs around the world, scientists began discovering something unexpected in human neurological patterns, something that might just be the key to facing an advanced alien threat. The first battle was lost, but the war for Earth's future was just beginning. The hidden strength. 3 weeks after the attack on Newport, Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at brain scans floating on her holographic display. The neuroscientist had been working without rest, comparing human neural patterns to the limited data they had on Vordak's physiology. "There's something here," she muttered, enlarging a section showing unusual activity in the human limbic system. Maya had discovered that human brains formed connections in ways completely different from the aliens. Where Vordak's neural pathways were orderly and fixed, human brains were chaotic, forming new connections constantly. Across the country, Jack Porter and Olivia Grant had been summoned to a classified military facility hidden beneath the Arizona desert. General Frank Wilson greeted them with grim determination. "We've got something," he said, leading them through heavy security doors. "It may be our only chance." The elevator descended for nearly a minute before opening to reveal an enormous underground hangar. In the center sat what appeared to be a small alien craft. "Is that?" Jack began. "A Vordak scout ship," Wilson confirmed. "It crashed in the Mova 3 years ago. We've kept it secret, trying to understand the technology." Olivia approached the craft cautiously. "They've been watching us longer than they admitted." Scientists in lab coats swarmed around the vessel. An older man with wild gray hair broke away from the group and approached them. "Dr. Harris," Wilson introduced him. "He's been leading the reverse engineering efforts." "We couldn't make it work," Harris explained, frustration evident in his voice. "The controls require some kind of neural interface we couldn't replicate, until now." He handed them tablets showing Maya Rodriguez's research findings. Jack whistled as he scrolled through the data. "Dr. Rodriguez believes human neural plasticity is unique," Harris continued. "Our brains can adapt in ways the Vordaks can't imagine. We've developed a prototype interface that leverages this ability." In a secured lab at the far end of the hangar, they met Maya. Dark circles under her eyes testified to her exhaustion, but excitement radiated from her as she demonstrated a sleek headset. "The aliens use fixed neural patterns to control their technology," she explained. "But we can do something they can't. We can change our patterns, adapt on the fly. This device amplifies those abilities." Jack watched as a test subject wearing the headset moved objects on a screen with just his thoughts. "How soon can we weaponize this?" "We already have," Wilson said. "Operation Phoenix is developing neural interface fighters as we speak. But first, we need more information about their technology and tactics." Olivia understood immediately. "You want us to infiltrate a Vordak ship?" Wilson nodded. "A small team. Get in, download their tactical database. Get out. With Dr. Rodriguez's interface technology, we might be able to control their systems long enough to accomplish that." 2 days later, Jack and Olivia led a 5-person team in the first human operation against the Vordaks. Using stealth technology developed from the crashed scout ship, they approached a Vordaks patrol vessel in Earth orbit. "Remember," Jack told his team as they prepared to board, "we need that data. Whatever happens, complete the mission." The boarding went smoothly at first. Maya's neural interface allowed them to bypass security systems and navigate the alien corridors unseen. In the ship's central data hub, Olivia connected their devices and began downloading tactical information. "This is incredible," she whispered to Jack. "They have data on thousands of species, hundreds of worlds." An alarm suddenly blared. "We've been detected," shouted Lieutenant Ryan Baker, one of their team members. "Keep downloading," Jack ordered Olivia while he and the others took defensive positions. The ensuing firefight was brutal. Baker fell first, then Sergeant Dias. When the data transfer finally completed, only Jack, Olivia, and Corporal Smith remained alive to fight their way back to the shuttle. Smith didn't make it, but as their stolen shuttle raced back to Earth, Jack and Olivia knew the sacrifice wasn't in vain. In Olivia's secure case lay the key to humanity's fight for survival, the complete tactical database of their enemy, and proof that humans possessed abilities the Vordaks had never encountered. The tide was about to turn. The counterstrike. 6 months passed in a blur of frantic activity. Earth's governments united under the emergency Global Defense Council. Factories worldwide converted to military production. The data Jack and Olivia retrieved proved invaluable, revealing Vordak's weaknesses and tactical patterns. Captain Ethan West stood on the bridge of humanity's first true starship, the Defiance, built using reverse-engineered Vordak's technology and powered by human innovation. It represented Earth's best hope. Status report. Ethan called to his crew as they prepared for their first mission. Neural interface systems at optimal levels, reported Lieutenant Lisa Reyes, her mind linked directly to the ship's weapons systems through Maya Rodriguez's revolutionary technology. The Defiance wasn't alone. 6 smaller vessels formed Earth's first space fleet, each crewed by pilots specially selected for their neural adaptability. What they lacked in numbers, they would make up for with the one advantage humans had over the Vordaks: their unique brain structure. "This is it," Ethan addressed his crew over the intercom. "The Vordaks believe we're still cowering on our planet. They don't expect us to take the fight to them. Let's show them what humanity can do." The fleet jumped to light speed using the Vordaks' own propulsion technology. Their target: a remote Vordaks outpost orbiting Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Intelligence suggested it served as a forward operating base with minimal defenses. When they arrived, the human ships immediately encountered 3 Vordaks patrol vessels. On paper, the alien ships outmatched the human fleet in every way. "Neural interfaces active," Lisa announced as warning signals flashed across the bridge. What happened next astonished even the human crews. As Vordaks weapons fired, the human pilots' minds merged partially with their ships. They reacted not just quickly but predictably, moving before the Vordaks weapons had even fired. "They can't track us," shouted Ethan as the Defiance spun through an impossible evasive maneuver. "Their targeting systems are designed for logical, predictable movements. Keep being unpredictable." The battle lasted just 11 minutes. All 3 Vordak ships were destroyed with only minor damage to the human fleet. The outposts surrendered after a brief standoff. News of the victory spread through Earth's military command. For the first time since the Vordaks arrived, humanity had hope. Over the next month, Earth launched surprise attacks on 5 more Vordaks outposts. Each time, the neural interface technology gave human pilots an edge that the technically superior Vordaks couldn't counter. After the 7th successful mission, the Defiance detected an unusual energy signature while returning to Earth. A ship unlike any they'd seen before approached with weapons powered down. "This isn't Vordak's design," Olivia Grant said, now serving as the fleet's alien technology expert. "I've never seen anything like it." The strange ship transmitted a simple message: "Enemies of the Council are friends of ours. Permission to approach." After careful scanning revealed no threat, Ethan allowed the vessel to dock with the Defiance. The airlock opened to reveal humanoid beings with golden skin and silver hair. "I am Kelmar of the Nexeri," their leader introduced himself. "We have watched your battles against the Vordaks with great interest." In the ship's conference room, Kelmar explained that the Nexeri were one of dozens of species oppressed by the Galactic Council. For centuries, they had been fighting a secret resistance against Council rule. "We thought we were alone in our struggle," Kelmar said. "Then reports reached us of Vordak ships destroyed by a previously unknown species using impossible tactics." Olivia leaned forward. "The Council. It's not what the Vordaks claimed, is it?" Kelmar's expression darkened. "The Council is a lie. 3 dominant species, the Vordaks, the Krith, and the Zentari, rule through fear and technology. They keep hundreds of worlds in subjugation, harvesting resources and labor. And now they want Earth," Ethan concluded. "Yes, but you've done something remarkable," Kelmar said. "You've frightened them. Word of your victories is spreading. Other subjugated worlds are beginning to question Council authority." Ethan and Olivia exchanged glances. What had begun as a desperate fight for survival was becoming something more, a beacon of resistance for an entire galaxy. "I think," Ethan said, "it's time we took this fight to the next level." Galactic politics. Ambassador Kate Miller had never expected to represent Earth to alien civilizations. 6 weeks ago, she had been a diplomat handling trade negotiations with Asian nations. Now she stood aboard the Nexeri cruiser Stellaris, facing representatives from 12 different species. The Vordax have told the Council that humans are dangerous primitives who attacked without provocation, explained Kelmar, the Nexeri leader. They've painted Earth as a threat to galactic stability. Kate studied the assembled aliens. Some looked almost human, while others were completely foreign to human biology. All shared one thing: fear of the Council. Then we need to show them the truth, Kate replied. Earth wants peace, but we won't accept slavery. Building a coalition proved challenging. Many species had suffered under Council rule for generations. Fear ran deep. The Zentari battle fleets destroy our outer colonies when we refuse their mining demands, said Raxer, a reptilian Drell ambassador. What makes you think humans can succeed where others have failed? Kate activated a holographic display showing footage of recent battles. Our neural technology gives us an advantage. We think differently than Council species. We adapt faster. Slowly, cautiously, a resistance alliance began to form. The Nexeri provided star charts and intelligence. The Drell offered advanced shield technology. Other species contributed resources and fighters to the growing fleet. Back on Earth, Dr. Maya Rodriguez continued refining her neural interface technology. In her lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, she briefed military leaders on her progress. The interface now allows pilots to anticipate enemy movements seconds before they occur, she explained to General Wilson and Admiral Jack Porter. But I believe we've only scratched the surface of what's possible. Jack, recently promoted for his leadership in the early counterstrikes, leaned forward. What do you mean? Human brains are capable of something I call neural resonance. Under the right conditions, multiple minds could potentially work together as one while maintaining individual awareness. The implications were enormous, but before Maya could pursue this breakthrough, alarms sounded throughout the base. A message from the Defiance had arrived. The Council was sending negotiators. 3 days later, Earth's leaders gathered in Geneva as a massive Council diplomatic vessel descended from orbit. Unlike the Vordax ships, this one gleamed with ornate decorations, projecting power and authority. The Council delegation consisted of 3 species, the Vordax they had met before. The Krith were massive beings with thick, armor-like skin. The Zentari appeared almost ghost-like, their translucent bodies shifting in the light. We have observed your resistance, stated the Zentari representative, its voice eerily melodic. While impressive, it is ultimately futile. The Council rules 10,000 worlds. Your resources are limited. President Harris remained composed. We're listening to your proposal. The terms were presented as generous. Earth would be granted protected status within the Council. Humans would be allowed limited self-governance in exchange for resources and service quotas. Essentially, drafting humans to work on Council projects. This is slavery with a polite name, Kate Miller whispered to Jack as they listened. After the Council representatives departed to await Earth's answer, leaders debated into the night. Some argued for accepting the terms to buy time. Others insisted on fighting to the end. Jack finally stood to address the assembly. I've seen what the Vordax do to worlds that surrender. The protection they offer is a cage. If we accept, they'll strip our planet and break our people. The vote was unanimous. Earth would reject the Council's terms. As predicted, the Council response was swift and brutal. A Vordax battle fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system, larger than any force humans had yet encountered. In her lab, Maya Rodriguez worked feverishly, knowing time was running out. As reports of the approaching armada reached her, she made the breakthrough she had been seeking. On her screen, neural patterns from test subjects aligned in perfect synchronization, creating something entirely new. Get me Admiral Porter, she told her assistant. Tell him I found our answer. The Infinite Protocol was born. The Infinite Protocol. Dr. Maya Rodriguez hadn't slept in 3 days. Her lab buzzed with activity as technicians prepared 12 volunteers for the first full test of her breakthrough technology. Admiral Jack Porter and Dr. Olivia Grant watched from behind a safety barrier. "Explain it to me again," Jack requested. "What exactly is the Infinite Protocol?" Maya gestured to the neural interface headsets being fitted on the volunteers. "The standard interface lets a pilot connect to their ship. This goes much further. It allows multiple humans to create a shared consciousness, a mental network where thoughts, reactions, and insights flow freely between connected minds." "Like a hive mind?" Olivia asked. "No," Maya corrected. "That's what makes this revolutionary. Subjects maintain their individuality and personal identity, but gain access to the combined mental processing power of everyone connected. They think both as themselves and as part of something greater." Lieutenant Sam Carter, a fighter pilot with exceptional neural plasticity, led the volunteer group. As technicians activated the system, his body tensed. "Initiating connection in 3, 2, 1, announced the chief technician. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then all 12 volunteers gasped simultaneously. Their eyes opened wide, expressions shifting from shock to wonder. "Lieutenant Carter, report status," Jack ordered. Sam responded, his voice steady but filled with awe. "I'm where? It's incredible, sir. I can feel everyone. Not just their thoughts, their instincts, their skills. Marion was a chess champion. I can now calculate 12 moves ahead. Eric speaks 7 languages. I understand them all." The test results exceeded all expectations. Connected subjects demonstrated unprecedented coordination, solving complex problems in seconds that would normally take hours. In simulated combat scenarios, they anticipated and countered every strategy thrown at them. Maya named this collective state infinity, finite minds linked to create something approaching infinite potential. 3 days after the successful test, long-range sensors detected the Vordax fleet entering the solar system. Over 200 warships approached Earth, far more than humanity and their allies could match ship for ship. Aboard the flagship Defiance, Captain Ethan West received new orders. 12 smaller vessels would be equipped with the Infinite Protocol technology, each crewed by neural-compatible pilots. "You'll be flying experimental ships against overwhelming odds," Ethan told the assembled pilots, including Sam Carter. "But you won't be flying alone. You'll be flying as Infinity." The 12 ships were designated Infinity Squadron. Their mission: hold the line while Earth evacuated key personnel to hidden bases throughout the solar system. As the Vordax fleet approached Mars, humanity launched its defense. Conventional ships engaged the outer edges of the alien formation, while Infinity Squadron targeted the command vessels at the center. Inside his fighter, Sam Carter felt the familiar rush as the Infinite Protocol activated. His consciousness expanded to include his 11 squadron mates. They no longer needed to communicate verbally. Each pilot knew exactly what the others would do before they did it. The Vordax commanders couldn't understand what they were seeing. The human ships moved in patterns that defied prediction, seeming to react to Vordax maneuvers before they executed them. When the aliens adjusted tactics, Infinity Squadron adapted instantly. "They're thinking collectively," reported a Vordax tactical officer to his commander. "Our targeting computers can't establish lock patterns." Despite being outnumbered 20 to 1, Infinity Squadron destroyed 37 Vordax ships in the first hour of battle, while losing only 2 of their own. From the bridge of the Defiance, Ethan watched in amazement. They're actually doing it. They're holding the line. The battle for Mars orbit lasted 14 hours. By the end, Infinity Squadron had lost 5 ships, but the Vordax had lost over 60. The alien fleet retreated to regroup, giving Earth precious time to complete evacuations and prepare for the next phase. In a secure bunker beneath the lunar surface, Maya Rodriguez monitored the neural data from the returning pilots. "This is just the beginning," she told Admiral Porter. "With more pilots, more training, humanity could become truly unbeatable." For the first time since the Vordax arrived, Earth had more than hope. They had a weapon the Council had never imagined possible: the infinite potential of connected human minds. Counter-invasion. 6 months passed as Earth transformed from prey to predator. The Vordax assault on the solar system had been repelled, not just by human forces, but by a growing alliance of formerly subjugated species. The tide had turned. Commander Natalie Chen stood on the bridge of the battleship Liberation, studying holographic displays of the Proxima Centauri system. This would be humanity's first push beyond their solar system, a direct strike against Council territory. "All ships report ready, Commander," announced her executive officer. Natalie nodded. "Begin the jump sequence." 50 ships, 30 human vessels, and 20 from allied species activated their drives simultaneously. The fleet vanished from Earth's space and reappeared near a heavily fortified Vordax colony world. "Infinity Protocol active," reported the tactical officer as 12 specially equipped ships linked their pilots' minds together. The Council forces responded quickly, but they had grown fearful of the human neural technology. Their formations were defensive, hesitant. "They're scared," Natalie observed. "Press the advantage." The battle lasted less than 3 hours. When it ended, the Council forces had surrendered, and the Liberation's troops landed on the colony world. What they found shocked even veteran soldiers. Thousands of beings from dozens of species were held in labor camps, mining resources for the Council. The horror of the Council's empire became clear. It wasn't just about conquest, but systematic exploitation on a galactic scale. Natalie walked through the largest camp after the prisoners were freed. A small childlike being with 4 arms approached her hesitantly. "Are you the humans?" it asked in broken English learned from their translation devices, the ones who fight with infinite minds. "Yes." Natalie knelt to meet the child's eyes. "We've come to help." News of the Liberation spread quickly through Council space. On 3 more worlds in neighboring systems, slave populations revolted against their Vordax overseers when they learned human forces were approaching. Admiral Jack Porter, now commanding Earth's expanded fleet from the massive carrier Independence, received reports from across Council territory. Resistance movements were gaining strength everywhere. "The Council is retreating to their core systems," Jack told the Allied commanders during their strategy session. "They're abandoning outer colonies to defend their homeworlds." Kelmar, the Nexari leader, nodded grimly. "We've waited centuries for this moment, but the Council fortress worlds are impregnable. Their combined fleets could still destroy us all." Jack activated a holographic display showing the Council's 3 homeworlds. Massive, heavily defended planets surrounded by orbital platforms and thousands of warships. "We don't need to defeat them all," he explained. "We just need to reach their leadership and force a surrender." The plan they developed was audacious. While Liberation forces continued freeing outer colonies, a smaller strike force would make a direct assault on the Council capital system. The goal wasn't conquest, but delivering a message the Council couldn't ignore. As ships prepared for the mission, Dr. Olivia Grant worked with representatives from 17 different species to create a universal communication protocol. If they reached the Council leaders, they would need to make their terms perfectly clear. "The words must be simple but powerful," she explained to her team. "This isn't just about humanity anymore. It's about freedom for all sentient beings." The night before the fleet departed, Jack found Olivia on the observation deck of the Independence, looking out at the stars. "Do you think they'll listen?" she asked without turning. "They'll have no choice," Jack replied. "We've liberated 23 worlds in under a month. Their empire is collapsing. And if they refuse—" Jack was silent for a moment. "Then we show them exactly what the Infinite Protocol can really do." The next morning, 100 ships jumped toward the heart of Council space. The final battle for galactic freedom had begun. On board the lead ship, the crew felt a strange mixture of fear and determination. They were no longer fighting just for Earth's survival. They were fighting to reshape the galaxy itself. Humanity's warning. The combined fleet of human and allied ships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Traxxas system, home to the Galactic Council's central authority. Massive orbital stations circled a gleaming blue-white planet, while thousands of warships formed defensive layers around it. Admiral Jack Porter stood on the bridge of the Independence, his expression calm despite the overwhelming forces arrayed against them. "Infinite protocol ships, prepare to engage," he ordered. All other vessels maintained defensive positions. 20 specialized ships moved forward, their crews activating the neural link that would join their minds together. Unlike previous engagements, this time the protocol had been enhanced. 100 pilots joined in the infinity state, creating a mental network of unprecedented power. The Council responded immediately, launching waves of fighters and activating massive defense platforms. Energy weapons sliced through space as the human ships weaved through the barrage with impossible precision. "They're adapting to our patterns," reported Sam Carter, now a captain leading the Infinity vessels. "The Council has studied our tactics." Through the neural link, the human pilots shared this observation instantly. Without verbal communication, they shifted to entirely new strategies, their collective consciousness generating solutions faster than any individual could have imagined. Meanwhile, Dr. Olivia Grant worked from a specialized communications center aboard the Independence. Using technology reverse-engineered from Council systems, she bypassed outer defenses and established direct contact with the Council chamber on the planet below. "We have a connection," she informed Jack. "They can see and hear us." Jack straightened his uniform and faced the view screen. 3 beings appeared, the leaders of the Vordax, Krith, and Zentari. "This assault is futile," declared the Zentari leader, its translucent form rippling with agitation. "You have brought doom to your species and your allies." Jack remained unfazed. "We aren't here to destroy you. We're here to deliver humanity's final warning to the galaxy." Outside, the battle intensified. The Infinity ships had penetrated 2 defensive layers, destroying key command vessels while suffering minimal losses. Council forces seemed increasingly disorganized, unable to counter the instantaneous reactions of the linked human minds. "Your reign of enslavement ends today," Jack continued. "Earth and its allies demand recognition of sovereignty for all sentient species throughout the galaxy. The Council will be reformed as a true democratic body with equal representation." The Vordax leader laughed, a harsh, metallic sound. "You are one small world against our empire. This temporary advantage will not save you." Jack nodded to Olivia, who transmitted data showing the revolution spreading across Council space. On dozens of worlds, oppressed populations were rising up against their overseers. "Your empire is already falling," Jack said, "but there's something else you should know." The view screen split to show Maya Rodriguez in her laboratory, surrounded by representatives from 7 different allied species wearing neural interface devices. "The Infinite Protocol works for all sentient minds," Maya explained. "We've shared our technology with our allies. Together, we form a collective intelligence that can outthink any defense you design." As if to emphasize her point, the Infinity ships broke through the final defensive layer, positioning themselves within striking distance of the Council's orbital headquarters. The 3 Council leaders conferred quickly among themselves, their confidence visibly shaken. "We came in peace," Jack reminded them. "You chose war. We are humanity, the infinite force, and we will not be conquered. But neither will we conquer. Choose cooperation, and we can build something better together." After tense minutes of deliberation, the Council leaders reluctantly agreed to open formal negotiations. The immediate fighting ceased as both sides established a temporary truce. 1 month later, Jack and Olivia stood in the newly reformed Council chamber as representatives from over 50 formerly subjugated species took their seats for the first time. The Galactic Alliance Treaty was signed, ending thousands of years of tyranny. As they watched the historic proceedings, Olivia leaned close to Jack. "Do you think it will last?" Jack smiled, watching the diverse species finding common ground despite their differences. "It has to. We've shown the galaxy what happens when minds truly connect, not to control, but to create. On the table before them lay the finalized treaty, its first article enshrining the right of all sentient beings to self-determination. And beneath that, a simple warning to any who might consider conquest in the future. Let all remember, united minds form infinite strength. Beyond the treaty, 5 years after the formation of the Galactic Alliance, Earth had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Cities now featured alien architecture alongside human designs. Students learned languages from a dozen worlds. And in the night sky, the lights of visiting ships twinkled alongside the stars. Jack Porter, now retired from military service at the rank of Grand Admiral, walked through the central garden of the Alliance headquarters in Geneva. The sprawling complex housed representatives from over 200 worlds, a testament to how quickly the Alliance had grown beyond its founding members. "Still getting used to civilian clothes?" asked Olivia as she joined him on the path. After years as Earth's chief xenolinguist, she now served as humanity's senior ambassador to the Alliance. Jack smiled. "I keep reaching for rank insignia that isn't there." They strolled past flowering plants from 20 different worlds, carefully cultivated to thrive in Earth's atmosphere. Alien diplomats nodded respectfully as they passed. The name Porter had become legendary throughout the galaxy. The Zentari delegation finally agreed to the education exchange program. Olivia told him, "That's the last of the former council species on board." "They're adapting better than I expected," Jack admitted. 5 years ago, they were tyrants ruling thousands of worlds. Now they're just 3 voices among many. Their conversation paused as they reached the memorial plaza at the center of the gardens. A simple stone monument listed the names of those lost in humanity's fight for survival, from the victims of Newport to the pilots who fell in the final battle. Beside it stood a newer installation, a living crystal structure that displayed, one by one, the names of beings from every world who had died under council oppression. "Sometimes I still can't believe we won," Jack said softly. "We didn't just win a war," Olivia reminded him. "We changed the very nature of galactic civilization." In labs throughout Alliance space, Maya Rodriguez's infinite protocol had evolved beyond its military origins. Scientists now use modified versions to solve complex problems from climate restoration to disease eradication. The technology that had saved humanity now served to elevate all species. As Jack and Olivia continued their walk, they passed a group of children, human and alien youngsters playing together in a specially designed park. Among them was a young girl with Maya's features, her granddaughter, wearing a training headset as she taught her alien friends a simplified version of neural linking. "The next generation won't remember a time before the Alliance," Jack observed. "That's the greatest victory of all," Olivia replied. Their path led them to a viewing platform overlooking the spaceport. Dozens of ships arrived and departed each hour. Traders, diplomats, and explorers from across the galaxy. Among them was the Horizon, humanity's first true exploration vessel, preparing for a mission beyond known space. Captain Natalie Chen stood at its entry ramp, supervising final preparations. When she spotted Jack and Olivia, she approached with a sharp salute out of habit, then caught herself and shifted to a friendly wave. "Final departure in 3 hours," she reported. 2-year mission to the galactic rim. "We're carrying representatives from 15 species on the science team." Jack nodded approvingly. Exploration rather than conquest. That's how it always should have been. As the sun began to set, the 3 of them watched the bustle of activity around the spaceport. Humans worked alongside former enemies and new allies, their differences insignificant compared to what they could accomplish together. "Do you ever miss it?" Natalie asked Jack. "Being out there, making first contact, facing the unknown." Jack exchanged a glance with Olivia before answering. "Every day." "But this," he gestured at the peaceful, thriving activity around them. "This is what we fought for." Above them, stars began appearing in the darkening sky, no longer distant points of light, but destinations, homes to allies and friends. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not as conquerors or the conquered, but as architects of a new galactic age. The infinite force had become an infinite peace.